The night shimmered with golden lights as the company gala filled the grand hall with laughter, clinking glasses, and the hum of small talk. I stood near the back, nursing a glass of wine, watching my husband Thomas glide through conversations with his usual charm. He was always composed, always professional, and tonight was no different. He wore his success like a second skin, and I felt proud just to be beside him, even though I often felt like just a silent extension of his image. Then I felt a presence beside me, tall, confident. It was Mr. Dorian Black. His boss, a man with a reputation for brilliance and mystery. His voice, smooth like velvet, broke through the haze around me, complimenting my dress. His words simple, yet laced with something deeper, something I felt in my spine. I offered a polite smile, trying to ignore the sudden awareness crackling in the air between us. He laughed softly, not at me, but at something unspoken, and when his hand reached to take mine, just for a moment, I told myself it was nothing, just a polite gesture. Yet the second our skin touched, everything inside me shifted. His hand was warm, firm, and lingered. Just a breath too long, a fraction of a second that burned into memory. My pulse fluttered wildly as if it too had been startled. I pulled my hand back gently, trying to mask my reaction. But he noticed I knew he did, and for a moment, he held my gaze with an intensity that left no doubt he had meant for me to feel something. I looked away, heart hammering, wondering if anyone saw, if Thomas saw, but he was still across the room, still unaware of the storm quietly building inside me. The rest of the evening blurred. I made excuses to leave early, needing distance, needing air. Thomas stayed behind as expected, too caught up in the celebration to notice my quiet exit. I walked into the cool night, trying to shake the lingering warmth on my palm, and the whisper of temptation that now curled around the edges of my thoughts. Days passed, and I told myself it was nothing, a foolish moment, a strange accident, but something had changed in me, a restlessness blooming in my chest. Every time my phone lit up, every time Thomas mentioned Dorian, in passing, I heard his name like a secret waiting to unravel, and the memory of his touch was no longer just a moment. It was a question, an ache, a dangerous pull I couldn't silence. Then it happened again. I hadn't meant to be alone in the office, but I was waiting for Thomas to finish a meeting, and there he was again, Dorian standing in the doorway, his presence filling the room without a word. His eyes found mine, and I felt that same pull, like gravity, like fate, pretending nothing had happened. Was impossible now, not, when the air between us grew heavier with every breath. He walked closer each step, echoing in the stillness of the room, and when he spoke, his voice was quieter, more personal, like a conversation only we were meant to have. He said he remembered the gala, said he hadn't forgotten our moment, and I didn't deny. It couldn't deny it, because neither had I. Then he reached for me again, not bold, not rushed, just a touch on my wrist, soft, deliberate, and it set fire to everything. I didn't pull away, not this time. I let the moment stretch, knowing the line was there, trembling between us, thin and fragile, and one step from shattering. I should have stopped it, should have said something, but I didn't. And when he leaned in, not to kiss me, but to whisper that he couldn't stop thinking about me, I felt my heart split between loyalty and desire, between safety and the secret I now carried. When Thomas called from the hallway, Dorian stepped back, instantly composed, but I couldn't move. Not at first. I stood there, heart racing, guilt blooming like a bruise beneath my skin, because now it wasn't just a touch. Now it was a secret one that pulsed with every heartbeat. One I wasn't ready to confess, and yet Couldn't forget. We drove home. Thomas talked about his promotion, about how grateful he was to Dorian for everything. And I smiled and nodded and laughed where I should. But inside, I held that secret, close, knowing it had already changed me. Knowing I had crossed something, invisible and real, and that nothing would ever be quite the same again. Because it started with one touch, and now it lives in every silence, between words, every glance across a room, every breath I take beside the man who trusts me completely. And I don't know how long I can carry this secret before it burns everything down.